Guys, today I'm going to be looking at the update on the David case. This video says it's revealing David's text messages. Blacky Speaks posted it, so if you want to look at the whole video, it's in the link below. Let's watch it.
Now, the private messages reveal what's really going on between him and Celeste, because these were not just random conversations between him and Celeste. According to LAPD detective Corey Farrell, the messages show that Celeste became pregnant when she was only 13 years old.
13 and pregnant? Oh my god, bro. I just feel bad for his fans, bro. Like, at this point, I never listened to his music. Fuck that.
Underwent an abortion and continued discussing that pregnancy with David for months afterward. The court heard conversations about pregnancy scares, contraception, keeping their relationship secret, and the intense regret Celeste later expressed over the abortion. But the messages become even more significant when you look at the prosecution's theory of the case. Prosecutors, of course, allege that Celeste eventually threatened to expose that relationship and the alleged abuse, and that David had millions of dollars, his career, and potentially his freedom to lose if that information became public. Now that remains the prosecution's allegation. David has pleaded not guilty, and the defense had not yet cross-examined Detective Farrell about these messages when court ended for the day. But what we found out gave the public its clearest and most disturbing look yet at what prosecutors say what was happening between David and Celeste behind closed doors. So in this video, we're getting an actual look inside David's private messages and communication with Celeste. We're going through what they said about the pregnancy, the abortion, the secrecy surrounding their relationship, and the messages prosecutors believe may help explain a possible motive for her death.
Bro, look at this nigga. Bro. What does he have on his neck?
According to LAPD testimony, the conversations between David and Celeste indicated that Celeste became pregnant when she was just 13 years old, identified David as the father, and later discussed an abortion with him. The court also heard descriptions of child sexual abuse material investigators allegedly recovered from David's phone, but more specifically, prosecutors presented a series of text messages between David and Celeste discussing an abortion she said she had in January 2024. At the time, Celeste was only 13 years old, while David was 18 and would turn 19 in March of that year. The explicit messages were recovered from an iPhone seized during a search of David's Los Angeles home, while the text message conversations were obtained from his iCloud account. Investigators described finding a large connection of CSAM material allegedly involving Celeste, and prosecutors believe this evidence may help explain the motive behind the killing. They allege that Celeste had threatened to expose the relationship and the alleged abuse, and that David killed her on April 23, 2025, before that information could become public.
I mean, I'm not surprised, bro. He had CSAM on his phone. Are we surprised? Are we really surprised? Just sad, bro.
Prosecutors further claimed that he later dismembered her body with a chainsaw inside the garage of his home. David, whose legal name is David Anthony Burke, has denied the allegations and pleaded not guilty.
Alright, well, honestly, I'm not even gonna say anything. We'll see. We'll see. Not guilty? I don't know, bro. I don't know.
Detective Corey Farrell then laid everything out for the court. Farrell, the prosecution's final witness at the preliminary hearing, read the messages out loud and described more than 36 explicit images that he said documented David's alleged essay of Celeste when she was just 13 and 14 years old. Prosecutors said the images showed sexual acts taking place inside David's home, but they were considered too graphic to display publicly in court, which says a lot. Farrell also testified that one screenshot recovered from David's phone showed that his lock screen at one point was a photograph of him and Celeste embracing while both were naked from the waist up. Other photographs shown in court also revealed that Celeste had David tattooed in red ink on one of her fingers, and that detail is especially disturbing because it was one of the fingers later found amputated from her body. And during Farrell's description of one image that allegedly showed David penetrating Celeste, her mother, Mercedes Martinez, began crying in the courtroom.
Oh my god, bro. Even if he didn't kill her, lock him up, bro. Lock him up. That is disgusting.
Now, the messages prosecutors presented stretched from November 2023 all the way to April 2025, and throughout those conversations, Celeste repeatedly told David that she was afraid she might be pregnant. The earliest messages shown in court came from late November 2023, right around the same period prosecutors alleged the sexual relationship between them first began. Celeste wrote that she was basically praying for her period to come because she refused to have children. David allegedly responded by asking whether she had missed the date she was expecting it. He then urged her to begin tracking her menstrual cycle through an app, writing, "I just need to make sure you're on top of your shit."
Bro, are you dead ass? You're worried if a 13-year-old is on top of her? Like, I don't even like saying this out loud. I don't even want to say it out loud. Like, that is disgusting. That's disgusting, bro.
Now, at this point, Celeste was only 13 years old, yet the two of them were allegedly discussing missed periods pregnancy scares and closely monitoring when her cycle was supposed to begin. And then the situation expanded beyond just David and Celeste. According to Detective Farrell, Celeste underwent an abortion in early January 2024. In the days leading up to the abortion, she allegedly texted David that neither of them were capable of taking care of a child. David allegedly responded by telling her, "You are so much stronger than me, baby," before adding, "I love you."
Like, why are you doing that? You're 20 years old. He's talking to her like she's a grown adult. Like, I can't even, this does not sound right at all.
He then mentioned advice he said he had received from his mother. David allegedly explained that his mother had advised him to question paternity. In other words, to make sure the baby was actually his, if he ever found himself in a situation like this. He then asked Celeste directly, "It is mine, right?" ? Celeste replied, "Of course it's yours, David."
Wait, his mother knew? Lock her up, too. Lock her up.
About a plan the two had created just 1 month after the abortion, and that plan was called Operation Awesome. According to the text, the plan was for Celeste to leave home and move in with David. When she said she did not know what to bring, he allegedly replied, "We've been over this for weeks," before telling her to pack anything she used that he could not immediately replace: her clothes, makeup, jewelry, and shoes. He said he would bring her 2 duffel bags and later texted that he was coming to pick her up in Lake Elsinore, where she was from. Then on February 13, David allegedly asked whether he should hide somewhere near her house and have his bodyguard bring her out to his car.
Grown ass man hiding near her house, by the way. Look at this shit. Hiding near her house. Grown ass man. I heard he's 5'2" too. Like, nah.
Responded, "Oh my god, no. That's so embarrassing, dude." So this was not just a vague conversation about living together someday. According to the messages, they had allegedly spent weeks planning exactly how she would leave home, what she would pack, and how David would get her into his car without drawing attention. "Baby, this is the most important day of your life next to your wedding day, and you're worried about being embarrassed?" So David was, in other words, describing Celeste leaving her home as one of the most important days of her life, second only to their future wedding. And according to Detective Farrell, their communication went back even further than the pregnancy. He testified that David had been messaging Celeste as far back as 2022, when she would have been only 11 years old. The messages prosecutors presented were often, as he actually explicit, and at times controlling. Now, as far as the messages that Celeste was sending, Celeste's messages could be affectionate, but they also showed moments where she appeared distressed and emotionally overwhelmed. Then on June 11, 2024, David allegedly wrote that he could not wait for them to move in together without the cops bitching. He told Celeste he would take her out every day, and she replied that she missed him deeply. But only a few hours later, the conversation took an even darker turn. David allegedly told her that he wanted to gather her personal documents so they could leave the country and get married in Italy. So this was no longer just talk about seeing each other in secret. According to the messages, he was allegedly discussing a future where Celeste would leave her life behind, move in with him, leave the country, and eventually get married in Italy. Soon after that, Celeste became afraid that she might be pregnant again.
Bro, lock him up, bro. This is textbook 101 grooming, bro. What are you talking about? Get married and go to Italy. She's 11 years old. She's 11. I forgot. Like, don't get on me too hard, but where's Celeste's parents in this?
She wrote, "I don't like this," before asking David, what if the first abortion didn't work? David allegedly brushed off the concern, telling her that she would already have a baby bump and pointing out that she had experienced multiple periods since then. He then wrote, "Nah, first baby gone."
He's acting all nonchalant too, talking about first baby gone, bro. You're a pedophile, bro. I'm pretty sure he knows.
Celeste's messages indicated that she was anxious that the abortion might have not worked, and David's alleged response was dismissive. Instead of taking her fear seriously, he mocked the possibility, treated her concern as unreasonable, and then reduced the pregnancy to the cold statement, "Nah, first baby gone." The entire response shifted attention away from what Celeste was feeling and treated a deeply serious situation as if her anxiety was ridiculous.
Nah, first baby gone. That's what I'm saying. Exactly what I'm saying.
Allegedly told David that she would come see him and sleep over, but she added one clear condition: just do not get me pregnant. David allegedly replied that they had done a good job avoiding another pregnancy and claimed the first and only time it happened was because of a damaged condom in December.
Bro, if you're a fan of this guy, Did you see the signs? Like, how did you not see the signs, bro? Like, I don't know this nigga, like, so I can't, like, I mean, he looks like a weirdo. Like, look at this nigga, bro. Look at him. He wears Hello Kitty and shakes his ass on TikTok. Are we serious?
Now, around that same time, another message revealed that David's mother knew him and Celeste were having sex. When Celeste asked whether his mother knew, David allegedly replied that she believed sex was probably the first thing they would do when they saw each other. And that detail matters because it suggests their sexual relationship was not completely hidden from the people around him. At least according to David's own message, his mother understood that him and Celeste were having sex, and Celeste was still only 13 years old at the time. An even more disturbing side of their dynamic. On June 27, Celeste told him that after they last had sex, she had to run to the bathroom because she was in pain. Instead of showing concern, David allegedly argued with her about whether it had actually hurt. He replied, "No," then claimed he remembered every time she had said "ow" during sex, and insisted that she had not said it once the last time. And this exchange shows the kind of control prosecutors say David had over Celeste. Rather than listening to Celeste describe what happened to her own body, he allegedly dismissed her pain and tried to tell her that her own memory of the experience was wrong. Then on July 10, Celeste asked him directly, "Does anyone know we even had sex?" David allegedly replied, "Nope, and I would like to keep it that way before we married." He then added that they should get married the following year and make the baby simple. So even while they were discussing marriage and having a child in the future, he was allegedly making it clear that their sexual relationship needed to remain secret.
Celeste, actually sad. This is, he manipulated, this is terrible, bro. How far gone was she? This is bad. RP Celeste, bro.
Taken a much darker turn, sending David a series of emotional messages about the abortion, writing, "Realistically, I care about you. I killed my kid for you," Celeste wrote. In another message presented in court, Celeste described what happened as taking an innocent life of a little baby. It was still weighing heavily on Celeste. She was not simply questioning the decision, she was expressing intense guilt over it. And for someone so young, she was remarkably clear about what she was feeling. She understood that this was something she might carry with her for the rest of her life, and she was able to put that into words. Celeste told David that she would have been there for the child had they continued with the pregnancy, but instead of acknowledging the regret she was expressing, David allegedly told her that keeping the baby would have been selfish. The exchange shows them responding very differently to what happened. He wrote, "David, I'm gonna have to lie to people around me, even my kid, for the rest of my life." Celeste told David that she avoided talking about the abortion because it made her extremely upset, adding, "I'd do anything to have it back." And David's alleged response to Celeste was extremely cold. He wrote, "Let's end that here," before adding, "I don't like talking to you when you're upset." When Celeste then asked how he personally felt about the abortion, he said he was saddened by it, but explained that what upset him even more was the way the child had been conceived, outside of marriage and outside of how he had imagined having his first child. Then, by November 2024, the situation between Celeste and David appeared to be repeatedly breaking down. In one exchange, Celeste reminded David that she had been having sex with him for almost an entire year.
What? Excuse me? For how long? Okay.
David allegedly responded by telling her that she was acting as though this was their first breakup, when according to him, it was already their eighth.
Eighth breakup with the 11-year-old girl? Somebody spank his booty in jail. Somebody spank his booty in jail. Oh my god. What are you doing, bro? So are all of David's songs that he wrote about Celeste a 13-year-old girl or 11-year-old girl? Bro, you are weird.
So this was not one clean ending. Based on the messages, the situation was already breaking apart. At different points, they were reconnecting, and that same disturbing dynamic was continuing. In an exchange dated back December 20, 2024, David and Celeste gave conflicting accounts of what had happened between them. On December 20, David wrote, "You asked me if I wanted to have sex, and I folded." He then claimed that they stopped. Celeste began crying, and he held her afterward. But Celeste immediately pushed back on that version of events. She replied, "No, I didn't, David," and said they had only made out before she was going to leave. Then the messages moved even closer to the date prosecutors say Celeste was killed. Farrell testified that they remained in contact and that the alleged sexual abuse was still ongoing approximately 1 month before prosecutors say Celeste was killed. But by March 14, 2025, only 1 month before Celeste was murdered, Celeste appeared to be trying to create distance. She texted David, "We can be friends, but like, online, "I don't want anything to do with you in person anymore." She was clearly trying to establish a boundary and end the in-person part of their relationship.
Good, Celeste. And this weird ass nigga decided to do what he did to you. So sorry. Yeah, and all his fans were like, no, he couldn't have done it. He was on tour. Alright, bro.
In a December 2023 message, David allegedly told Celeste that he used the name Travion Davis for all of his packages and everything. That alias would later become significant because prosecutors say purchases connected to the alleged dismemberment of Celeste's body were made under the same name. Another detective testified that David used the alias Travion Davis to order 2 chainsaws from Amazon on May 1st, 2025.
But your name not Travion Davis, wait. Oh fuck. Bro, what made you come up with Travion Davis, nigga? Your name is David, whatever the fuck.
Then 3 days later, investigators say he purchased a 3rd chainsaw.
Three chainsaws? Nigga, what the fuck? For what? For why? Yo, this nigga thinks he's in a horror movie. Get this nigga the fuck up on out of here.
From Home Depot and had it delivered through Uber Postmates.
Postmates? And you thought you were gonna get away with this shit when you ordered a chainsaw off Postmates, you dumb fuck. I swear, be the dumbest niggas doing the most heinous crimes, bro. I swear.
Makita. And unlike the other 2, it was never recovered. And those were the main messages revealed during day 4. But based on what we found out, these messages gave us the clearest look yet at what prosecutors say was happening between David and Celeste behind closed doors. What really stood out to me was Celeste's emotional intelligence and the way she communicated. Even at her age, she was able to clearly express fear, guilt, regret, and exactly how these experiences were affecting her.
That's what I'm saying. That just shows she was obviously with somebody much older than her, bro. Like, how is she talking like that at 11 years old? She's talking about her feelings so clearly and all that. It's crazy, like crazy.
And through these messages, she also exposed a much bigger reality, how manipulation, gaslighting, secrecy can shape what happens behind closed doors. Rest in peace to Celeste Rivas Hernandez. Justice will be served.
Yes, it will. That's gonna end the video. If you made it to the end of the video, thank you for watching. Peace.